Welcome to the Dallas Stars free agent edition of Who Should Stay or Who Should Go.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome to this game show edition of Locked On Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. And it is called Who Should Stay or Who Should Go. We're going to take a look at the upcoming free agents this summer for the Dallas Stars. And I want you in the comments below, let me know, who should the Stars keep? Who should they let go? We're going to start with the forwards, then we'll jump into the blue line. We're also going to talk about the Texas Stars because they deserve some love. They're in the Western Conference final in the Calder Cup Playoffs. Unfortunately, they're on the brink of elimination, so we need to pass as much support on to the Texas Stars for Game 5 as possible. But welcome to Who Should Stay, Who Should Go. This episode is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. So I think I'm going to give you two different answers for each individual, each player, because I want to give my personal opinion of what I would do if I was GM Jim Nill, but I also want to give an answer for what I think the Stars are going to do based off the context of what we're hearing and whatnot, because I think if you got rid of the context of the cap space, each team would do a lot of different things. So I kind of want to give an answer on that front. Like, let's just say money is no option. It doesn't matter. There's no hard cap. What would you do with this specific player? Because I think your answers would change on some specific individuals. But so just bear with me on some of these because I want to kind of dive into each. So let's start with the captain, Jamie Benn. Of course, his contract has expired. He's an unrestricted free agent. He's 35 years of age. He's coming off a season where he scored 16 goals, 33 assists, and 49 points. So not quite the renaissance we saw from the past couple of years, but not horrible by any stretch. But he left a lot to be desired in the postseason. And I talked a lot about Jamie Benn, the Stanley Cup playoff Jamie Benn, right? And we didn't see any of that this year, which is very, very concerning because he's a big power forward. Those type of players are not always going to grade gracefully. And he had a couple of really solid seasons in his mid-30s. I mean, 60 points, 78 points. Like, those are some massive point totals for where he is, but he's sort of turning into a fourth-line checker. So he's not going to play as many minutes as he has in years past. He's not going to get as much power play time. So those opportunities to produce are just not going to be available like they were in the past, especially if they're going to free him up away from Johnston and some others. And yeah, he may be playing with, let's just say, an Oscar Beck, or he's playing with a Blackwell, somebody on the fourth line, Sam Steele, right? So I think he's going to stay, right? If I'm the Stars, or if I'm thinking what Jim Nill's going to do, I think he's going to stay. In my opinion, I would let him walk. I would let Jamie Benn walk and use the 9.85 million or 9.5 million you're getting because his contract is expiring elsewhere. That's sort of where I would lean on it, but I think he's going to return. And I've said that before. I would be sort of shocked if he does not return, but you have to accept the fact that Ben is probably not going to sniff 60 points. Again, he's going to be anywhere probably between 35 to 50. You're hoping that's what Jamie Benn can give you. And maybe I'm sort of pigeonholing him into a fourth line role. Maybe the Stars have a different idea where he can be in more spots to produce. But I think you're basically at the point now where you're going to be hoping 35 to 50 points from Jamie Benn next season. And maybe that's pigeonholing him, but he's a captain. I understand his effect on the locker room and how much each player loves playing for Jamie Benn and thinks he's a wonderful captain. I completely understand that. But if I'm Dallas personally, you have to make some changes. And it may start with the leadership. It may start up front with some of your core guys, right? But it's time to move on in a lot of ways. It's time to move on because it hasn't worked the last 3 years. So that's where I stand on the situation. But I do think he's coming back and he will be a Dallas Star next season. Let's get to Matt Duchene. He's a tough one. Dutchie is so hard for me to definitively have a strong answer about, because at $3 million the past 2 seasons, one of the best bargains in the league. And he had 82 points and 30 goals. It's nothing to scoff at, of course. But then you have the postseasons attached to that. And he had a combined 3 goals, maybe 2. I could be giving him too much. I think 2. He had the one against Colorado, and he had another one at some point, I think. See, I can't even recall. Whatever. Less than 5 goals in his 2 postseasons. And he contributed to some offense. He contributed to creating some offense. The production wasn't always there. So it's really, really tough for me to gauge, because at $3 million, if I'm Dallas and it's $3 million, I'm bringing him back. Like, you can't get that type of production for that amount. Like, that's a really, really good value. But as Matt Duchene mentioned, he wanted some stability. And if I'm Dallas, I'm not doing that at all. I'm not signing up for more than a year of Matt Duchene. I would let him walk. But 1 year, $3 million, I can be enticed. I can be convinced again. And I know he's going to be 35 next season. And yes, the playoff woes are awful, but man, it's hard to look past the point per game in the playoffs, or the point per game in the regular season. I'm curious if they would keep him with Sagan and Marchman again. Like, it really is a strong line. And you still have to get through the 82 game slog. But he's a tough one for me. He really is, because he's had such phenomenal impact during the regular season, and then the postseason is it's so glaring, and that is also really hard to look past. And I know a lot of Stars fans have struggling doing that as well, because of just really how poor his postseason production has been in Dallas. So I would let him walk. That's where I personally come down to it. But I wouldn't be shocked again if he signs another sweetheart deal, but he said he was looking for some more stability. Let's go to Evgeny Dodonov, the next unrestricted free agent up front. I'm letting Daddy walk. I think he's been admirable here. I mean, 20 goals last season. It's not bad at all, right? I mean, he's had some good seasons in Dallas. I just think you can replace Dodonov with somebody in-house, whether that's down in Texas for a bit cheaper. But if Dodonov, I mean, if he takes a bit more of a pay cut, but I'm not looking at $2.25 million for Dodonov. I'm thinking somewhere more, maybe around where Blackwell was in Chicago. And I think Blackwell was a $1.2 million. I think that would probably work out, but he is 36. I mean, gosh, like that's he's in his mid 30s too. I'd rather get younger, get a bit more faster. And I know Pete DeBoer likes him, has trust him, but I'm letting Dodonov walk too. Use that money elsewhere, get faster, and get younger up front. They have pieces down the AHL that, like, a Matej Blumel, I think would be a good replacement for somebody like a Dodonov if he's able to make that next step. Let's move to Mikael Granlund. We'll get through these a little bit faster. I would I would sign Mikael Granlund over everybody in the free agent class. That's where I stand on Granlund. He's obviously a really smart player. He put up really solid numbers last season, 45 points in 52 games with San Jose. He had 21 points in 31 games with Dallas. Of course, he had the hat trick in the postseason. He fit in well with Mikko and Rope. Like, that was a good line. If you could keep them together, watch them for a full year, I think that would be exciting. So I would keep Granlund. It's going to be tough if you're Dallas. I think that one's going to be probably the toughest out of all the unrestricted free agents, because I think his price could be higher and some other teams may be willing to throw a decent chunk of change out. We'll go rather quickly here on the last two. That way we can get to the blue lines. Blackwell, I'm all for bringing Blackwell back. I love his energy, love his spark. I think he's a perfect fit on your fourth line. I think ideally, if you do have enough depth, maybe he's your 13th forward, right? And he's watching the press box a few times during the regular season, but which is sort of what he was already, but really liked his game. He gave Dallas some really strong performances in the postseason too. I'd sign him up for the same deal if they can do that. Maverick Bork, I'm not ready to give up on him. I would, if I'm Dallas, I'm trying to bring him back. He I know is probably a popular candidate for an offer sheet, which may produce some problems for Dallas, but I would love to bring Bork back. I think with maybe some of the characters, some of the players you may have to let go, he is a guy that has an opportunity to sort of elevate his role a bit. And he maybe didn't produce as much as we thought he was right off the hop here, but he's still young, and I think he will continue to grow. And I'd like to see him back in Dallas. So there are my stances on who should stay or who should go for the Dallas Stars forward group of free agents. We'll hop over to the blue line in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all of your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money. You can start building wealth. You realize just how much you can spend on food delivery, entertainment, and other things. Monarch Money allows you to budget smarter and save more. It's an all-in-one convenience. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals for yourself or with your partner. It makes it so easy to track shared and personal accounts. It takes all the stress so you can stay on the same page. Take control of your finances with MonarchMoney.com. Use code LOCKEDONNHL and MonarchMoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's Monarch Money. Code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year. Alrighty, let's take a look at the Dallas Stars free agent list of defensemen. It's a bit weird. I think the majority of guys that you would be out on, like who should go for Dallas, are still under contract next year. So we're not going to get into them. I guess we'll start with Brendan Smith. I think these are fairly simple. Smith, you just let walk. Okay, I'll say this. Maybe you don't let him walk for $1 million. You can't complain that much about what you get out of him. He can play up front if you need him to. And he's a seventh, eighth defenseman. So I could understand if Dallas brought him back. I'm really curious. I just think with Dallas being maybe so up against the cap, they're going to need as much space as possible, as it already is with $5 million. I think you're going to have to let somebody like Brendan Smith walk. Cody Ceci, look, I'm okay with letting him walk too. You replace him with Bichel. You can replace him with Petrovic. You have in-house replacements for him, and you won't require Bichel or Petrovic to play some of those heavy minutes. You won't require him to play in the top four. So in theory, it's an addition by subtraction that Cody Ceci does not return, because he was just playing in a role that was not suitable for him. And we knew that the entire season, and we just continued to see it. Some of it out of the Stars' control with injuries, some of it not having the defense where it needed to be, and overpaying for some guys like Dumba and Lyubushkin made you pretty pigeonholed at the trade deadline. You weren't really able to go out and get some actual help at that position, which really stunk. Nils Lundkvist, hell yeah, you bring him back. I thought he made big strides last season. I think the Stars will bring him back. He seems to really like Dallas. It just seems to, I guess, be a good fit for him. And I think next year he's going to get an even more elevated role. He ended up playing in 39 games this season before he had a season-ending shoulder injury. Is pretty remarkable too. If Dallas maybe extended the series against Edmonton or got to the Stanley Cup final, he would have been an option. It was said that he was just cleared, I think, the night before Game 5 against Edmonton. So he could have been an option at some point. I don't know if they would have just thrown him back into the fire. That would have been very tough for Niels, but he's still young. And I think he does give you he gives you a guy that can move the puck. And that's really the entire conversation we've been having about this blue line. You need some guys with an offensive skill set that can skate and move the puck. And Nils Lundkvist is one of those defensemen. He his strengths is skating. I thought he grew as a defender in terms of just his body position, his position awareness. He has, enough games under his belt now where I think it may be starting to click for him. So I'm on the Nils Lundkvist hype train to bring him back and let him get another season under his belt here in Dallas. So there's your three UFAs for the Dallas Stars. Well, Nils Lundkvist is a restricted free agent. He is arbitration eligible as well. So not deep a list up front. Bichel, by the way, is under contract. Petrovic is also under contract for next season. Petrovic has the two-way deal, and Bichel is still on his entry level. So they are not UFAs or anything, but those I think are your replacements for Cody Ceci and Brendan Smith. If you're Dallas too, Petrovic, I'd be curious. He may be on the opening night roster, but I think all things told, you probably want him to start in the AHL. If you're Dallas, that means your blue line is in a good spot if he's in the AHL. But if you need him, you know what he can bring you, and he's been really solid. And he's 33 years of age. Like, he's 33, but he's going to give you more impactful minutes than Dumba is at 30. Lyubushkin, there could be some argument there. I'm okay with Lyubushkin. I really am. I can live with the fact that Lyubushkin is on the roster, but he needs to be your sixth defenseman, right? He needs to be on your third pair and not playing heavy minutes. And I think Lyubushkin can do all right for himself in that position. So that's where I kind of see Dallas sort of having to retool this blue line, get some bodies in. It'll be fascinating. And who knows, they could trade Lyubushkin, they could trade Dumba, and find some other pieces on the open market when that time comes. So there you go. That wraps up our Locked On Stars edition of who should stay, who should go. Just to put in conclusion, if let's just do it from a Dallas Stars perspective. Ben coming back, Duchene coming back, Dodonov walk. I'm saying Granlund walks in that case if you're able to get Duchene and Ben, because I think that's what the Dallas Stars may likely do. Then you get Blackwell, you get Bork on the back end, Smith, Ceci gone, Lundkvist is able to come back. I guess in my personal opinion, let's just do just a fun exercise, because I think if cap space wasn't an issue and you just had to bring guys based off, can they win you games, basically. I'm letting Ben walk. I'd bring back Duchene. Dodonov, no. Granlund for sure. Blackwell, Bork for sure. Smith, no. CC, no. Lundqvist I'd bring back. So pretty similar in a lot of ways, I think. I just, if you're Dallas, I think the hard dilemma is going to be you either get Jamie and Granlund or it's Jamie and Duchene. I don't think you can keep all three. They may be able to do that if Granlund and Duchene wanted to take pay cuts, right? And Ben, but I just think that would be tough. And also, I feel like you have to let one of those guys walk, just because you need to get younger, you need to get faster, and you can't run it back with all three of them, in my opinion. You got to let two of the three go, more than likely, if you're asking me. But I don't see Ben going. It just seems like it's not going to be plausible for Dallas. It's not going to be an option. Duchene, I think, is very possible he could walk depending on where he is and whether he wants to take a discount again. So it'll be fascinating stuff for GM Jim Nill. So there you go. That'll wrap up who should stay or who should go. Let's jump over to the Texas Stars. I should have been talking about them a bit more here as of late, but I want to touch on what the Stars are doing down in Cedar Park. Some remarkable stuff. The offense is rolling, but they are on the brink of elimination. So let's touch on some of the Calder Cup playoffs in just a moment. Well, unfortunately, the Texas Stars are pulling a bit of a Dallas Stars by going down 3-1 in their Western Conference final to the Abbotsford Canucks. The Canucks won thriller last night, a heartbreaker for Texas, 5-4 in double overtime of Game 4. The Canucks take a 3-1 series lead in the Western Conference final. Game 5 will be tomorrow night, 7 o'clock in Cedar Park. So that's a ginormous game. Let's send a lot of support their way and see if we can will the Stars back into this series. But they're having a very, very strong playoff run again in the Calder Cup. And go ahead and look at some of these offensive numbers. We touched on the Stars' inability to score and the offense going dry. Well, the Texas Stars have 5 of the top 6 scorers in the Calder Cup playoffs. Cameron Hughes is leading the way with 19 points. He's got 4 goals and 15 assists. Justin Ritskovian, who's somebody that's on my radar for being on the opening night roster next year, 17 points in 12 games. Cole Lynn, who was an addition last season in the summer, he came over from Coachella Valley. He's having another strong playoff run, 15 points. And then Matej Blumel has 14 points in 12 games. And yeah, Kyle Capobianco, who played in one game this year with Dallas, has 12 points in 12 games. The defenseman is racking up a lot of points. So how about that? That Stars offense is killing it. 5 of the top 6 scorers in the Calder Cup playoffs are with the Texas Stars. Unfortunately, they trail 3-1 in the series, but it's been a really, really strong playoff run for Texas. So let's give them a ton of support the rest of the way. They defeated the Milwaukee Admirals in the Central Division Finals, 3-2. In that one, they started their run against the Grand Rapids Griffins, and they ended up sweeping Grand Rapids 3-0. So, man, a lengthy run for Texas, which is a great sign. I say it all the time. It's a culture of winning, right? Culture of winning in the AHL breeds some more culture of winning at the NHL level. And I think there's some guys on here, Blumel, Ritskovian, Cole Lind, I liked a lot in the preseason last year as well. Some guys that are going to have opportunities to maybe fill a role for Dallas next season on the bottom 6 and maybe get some minutes with a team that's going to be tied up against the cap, and they have to make some changes. So it's good to see some guys really showing out down in Texas and making some big plays for the Stars. But I did want to touch on them a bit just because they've been having a heck of a run, and kind of got overshadowed by a lot of what the Stars were doing, of course. But when we can show some love to the Texas Stars and anybody else within the Stars organization, we will do that here on Locked On Stars. So some good stuff there. And if you want some Stars hockey to watch, so to speak, you can watch tomorrow night, 7 o'clock puck drop, Game 5 between the Canucks and Stars. Stars have to win out now. Try to get it to a Game 7. Very similar situation to where the big club was just this past week. But that will do it for this Thursday edition of Locked On Stars, but of a game show edition, and I'm sure we'll do some more of that as the weeks go on. Well, thank you for joining us, as always, making us your first listen. I know there's a lot of options out there. I appreciate all of you that come back and listen to me ramble and listen to me give my takes and opinions on such. But let me know your comments. Let me know your thoughts below. Let me know how you feel about each of the individuals I talked about today. Would you let them walk? Would you bring them back? I know a lot of them can be controversial. I don't really know if there's a perfect answer on a lot. A lot of it does come down to money and whatnot and how it fits into the cap, but a lot of fun to kind of just throw some things around and chop it up a bit. But be sure to comment, like today's video, subscribe. We're over 4,200 subscribers now, which is crazy. We grew a lot during the postseason. I appreciate all of you that had subscribed and are joining me here, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you tomorrow before we kick you off into your weekend on a Friday edition. So long, Stars fans.